What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri zone for another preview. And we play Real Madrid in a couple of hours. And obviously, it's going to be a difficult game. And I don't think many people have believed that we will do anything significantly important in that game. And if you listen to Tudor's presser, which we're going to talk about, you know, I've been critical, but I think you will agree if we go through the quotes that this was a presser that is actually unacceptable when you're the Juve coach. I'm sorry. The things that were said in that presser were more of a don't look at me, don't blame me. Don't blame me, excuse me. I think we're actually playing pretty well. The criticism is like the excuse making was from such a level that I was listening to it, I was watching it, and I felt embarrassed. I'm not gonna lie, I felt embarrassed whilst Tudor was speaking because I saw somebody sitting there who lost the plot, who is not sure which job he is holding at this moment in time, who is making a lot of excuses but doesn't want to address the serious things. When he talked about, I'm keeping it real, I'm talking about facts, he was calling out make-believe things, you know, and he was not questioned about it again by journalists, and that makes a very sad part in my opinion. But before we get into it, as always, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's talk about it. Okay, so this is one of the predicted lineups, but I don't want to talk about it for now. I want to start off with the quotes he had to say. Thuram spoke a lot as well. Thuram, you know, said the box standard thing, but Thuram said one thing that was very important. He said, we want to redeem ourselves. We want to play well. We want to play well for the coach because we like the coach. And I thought that was also not a worrying statement. It's good that you like the coach, but then it might be worse than if you are playing for the coach and that's the performances you're putting in there, that means you guys are also the issue. That means you guys are then not good enough. And it's not just the coach, it's you guys as well. Because you're playing for the coach, because you like him, you're telling us. But those are the performances you're putting in. So we need to start looking at you guys as well. That's basically what Thuram was telling us in that presser. Other than that, excuse me, a lot of, standard things that will be said and nothing really special. But Tudor spoke and he lost it. He said, without the referee mistakes in Verona and with a different schedule, we would be in first place. You cannot say these things if you won 0 games out of your last 6. To make it worse, you drew 5 and lost 1. You got away with losing even more games. You cannot say, if you're a Juve coach with the clear struggles we have and the issues we have as a squad, you cannot just not come out and say that. I remember these quotes when we were winning for 9 years in a row and other clubs and fans, etc. were using them and we were making fun of them, rightfully so. People will make fun of us, rightfully so. You cannot say that. We watch the games. Don't talk about schedule. So that means now you're having an easy schedule. You should be doing better, right? But you came across Como and you had no chance. So that's also a lie. You cannot say these things. And then he went on and he backs it up by saying people would have said, great Juve and great coach Tudor. Some will say there are excuses, but that's how it is because I analyze performances. It is an excuse. It is an excuse. Like he wants to brush it aside. It's an excuse, and it's one of the worst excuses you can make as a coach of a top club. You cannot say these things. Then he went on and says, well, if we won these games, you know, we would say great Juve. Yeah, like if you won the last 6 games, yeah, you would have been unbeaten. You would have been Bayern Munich style, esque season, you know. And yes, people will talk about a great Juve, but we're far off that. He's making it sound like it's black and white, that we're just not winning games by some bad luck and some very obvious issues we can fix, etc. That's not the case. He's making it sound like it's very easy to fix. It's very fixable, but that's not the case. And that's actually shocking. It's so worrying. I cannot put into words how I was listening to it. And I was like, what are you talking about? This is actually sad. Somebody take the mic away from him because he's saying things you cannot take back. You cannot take these things back, in my opinion. It's done. The damage is done. He said, I'm calm. I'm not calm because I'm unhappy, but I'm clear-headed in my analysis. He's not, because he's talking about if we had a easier schedule, if there was not a referee mistake against Verona, we would be unbeaten or we will be top of the league, and people will say it's all ifs, and ifs. And again, he's making it sound like we conceded 5 pens in minute 96 for the last 5 weeks on a row, and you're like, oh my god, this is insane luck. Actually we had good games, we should have won. That's not the case. That's absolutely not the case. But he's making it sound like that, and that's so worrying to actually listen to and sit there and be like, he actually believes these things. He actually thinks we're in that situation, which we're not. We're not in that situation. We're far removed from that black and white situation where it's like, oh, if this is going right, that will be going right, and we will be winning stuff. That's not the case, Then he said, "I was always right time to come here at the Bernabeu, because it's a great matchup, and we will have an opportunity." It's bullshit, It's paper talk. Nobody wants to hear that as well. Then he said, "We talked to the directors yesterday, as always, as we always do. I'm focused on giving the team tactical solution. I'm very clear-minded and concentrated." He's definitely not clear-minded, because the quotes I just read out is not from a coach that is clear-minded. Actually, that's from a coach who's losing it, and knows that he's in trouble, knows that his back is up against the wall, knows that he cannot come up with solutions, knows that the team is not reacting, and we can all witness that with our own eyes. Everyone can see that. No wins in the last 6 games. I mean, what are we talking about at this moment in time? He said, "I expect a great reaction. Coming here should be a source of motivation. I believe we'll play a good match tomorrow. Again, box standard, repeatable. You repeat that after bad results, etc. As a fan, you don't want to hear that, because that's, go out there and prove it. Oh, we have a chance to redeem himself. You had that for the last 6 weeks, and you didn't do that. So why should we go with that right now?" That's all I have to say. He said, "I don't read the newspapers. I can only react based on the energy of the people around me. I'm focused on the team and my responsibilities. I need to consider how to support the team and each player, never think about myself." Yeah, I mean, that's a job as a coach. That's fine. But he's not coming up with solutions, and that's just a fact. That's a fact at this moment in time. And then one of the quotes that, was later on in the presser, and I was like, I thought you already done all the damage, but here we go again, I guess. And he said, "At Juve, a draw brings frustration. Against Inter, we put in a great performance. Against Atalanta, we were the better team. Then in Verona, there was a penalty and the red card. And finally, against Milan, we took a point. I'm satisfied, but the fans aren't." And that is basically telling the fans, calm down. It's not that bad. I'm happy with it. So you guys should be happy with it. Which is absolutely the biggest load of BS ever. Because he's making it sound like he's making it sound like it's not one bad result. It's like it's not 6 weeks of bad results. Or 6 games of bad results, excuse me. It's a one-off. That's how it's making it sound. And to me, that's unacceptable. Because he's saying, well, the fans are not satisfied, but I am. So yeah, I'm the coach. If I'm okay with it, then there's no real issue. And that to me is absolutely mind-boggling and unacceptable. Because he's making it sound like it's very easily fixable. It's one-offs. It's so close. Everything. It's not. Against Milan, it wasn't close. Against Verona, it was poor. Against Atalanta, it was not good enough. Against Dortmund, it was not good enough. Like Villarreal was. Like the list goes on. Como was poor. Like, what are we actually doing right here, Tudor? I was listening to that presser and I was like, this is really sad. This is really sad to hear any coach talk about that, because you can clearly see a coach who's in trouble and doesn't really have any solutions right now. And he's just struggling to find something to hold on to, convince the fans, etc. But it's not even close. He's not even close to being able to convince the fans. That's it. That's it. That's it. Let me see what he had other things to say as well. Here we go. Then he said, "If you think changing formation or moving Yildiz around will get us points, then we're on the wrong path. We're already on the wrong path. What people are suggesting, our fans are like, something needs to change. You clearly do not know what the change needs to be. Fair, I guess, that can happen. But do not come out and say, oh, if you guys think one change will fix. Nobody's saying one change will fix anything, because we have more things to fix. It's the attitude. That's the video I made with the Motta quote. It had nothing to do with Motta. It had all to do with the way he was speaking about these group of players who do not show the right motivation. So that's one of the problems. We get it. And that's not fixable by playing Yildiz behind the strikers or playing with 4 at the back or adding another extra midfielder. It can help, definitely. But the mindset of the players is wrong. And as a coach, that's up to you, because these players will throw you under the bus like they threw other coaches already under the bus in the last couple of seasons. He said, if the analysis is simply that we are Juve and therefore we must always win, then that's not the right approach. I agree with the fact that we're Juve, we need to win by default. That's not how it works. You don't go to every team and just because you're Juve, you need to work. You need to always win. But we're Juve and you need to win more than one game compared to 0 out of the last 6 games. Is that fair to ask, Tudor? Is that fair to say? Because right now, that is the point. Nobody's saying you should be beating Como by default and Villarreal every single week. However, what we are saying is that we are Juve and we should be doing better. No wins in 6 is not acceptable. That's what fans are saying. We're not saying you play against any team and just because your name is Juve, you need to do better. But we are not performing against teams with worse squads. With worse squads, with relegation type squads, and we're performing poorly. That is a fact. We can all witness that with our own eyes. That's it. That is it. That should be the approach. The approach that should be, we should be beating teams that are fighting relegation or have extremely low quality compared to our quality. That's your job, not our job. So the presser is wild to me. The presser is, in my opinion, disrespectful towards the history of the club. That's one. And also a lot of excuse making, which is unacceptable. A lot of things that are being said that you cannot say as a club. A lot of things that, as a coach, a lot of things that suggest that he's in trouble and he's kind of losing it. He's struggling and he's not sure how to fix it, how to turn this around. That is what's happening at this moment in time. On the game, I don't know what to tell you about the game. Real Madrid have a far better squad. Real Madrid are not clicking on all cylinders, but it's Champions League. They are ready for Champions League games. We are clearly not ready at this moment in time. We can talk about who we're going to play. I want Jonathan David to play because I think against Como, he played well enough with the link-up play, much improved, etc. But we're going to switch it up again, I guess. Even if you play Vlahovic, if you play Openda, right now we're in a moment where I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. I think we're down. I think we're down bad. The only way you can get something out of that Real Madrid game is you go out there and you just play like a different team without any worries, without overthinking anything. Just go out there and try to have some sort of fun like Marseille did, basically. Play hard, play serious, be a bit focused, show some energy, and maybe you get some out of that game. Because, yeah, tactically, we are going to get outplayed. Quality-wise, we're going to get outplayed. That's just the reality. And that's no shame into saying that because that's the reality right now. And there's no need to make excuses about it. So that's one of the predicted lineups. Do I care that Kalulu is going to play wingback again? No, because that's what the decision Tudor is going to make. And apparently, it's not about tactical changes, according to Tudor. It's not about players. It's not about changing a player. So who are we to sit here and say, oh my God, this is not good. You need to do a 4-3-1-2. You need to play that guy. Because Tudor made it clear with a statement that, we are not idiots, but we're wrong if we think we can solve our issues just by making a formation change or a player change. So should we worry about who plays? No, because he makes it clear that he's not focused on that, and that's not really something he's working on right now. So what are we working on? Who knows? So again, Cambiasso plays, maybe Quote Minders plays. The backline is what it is, the backline. We don't have anybody else, I guess. And try to stop Vini Jr. and Mbappe. That's, I don't know, stop to do that. Try to stop it with, extremely to say basically almost no pace at the back, because Kalulu, yeah, he has recovery pace. Cambiaso's not the quickest. Gatti is not quick. I don't think Rugani is quick. Like it can be a bloodbath, you know. And as a fan, as a Juve fan, this is a very low point going into a game personally, and having absolutely no belief that we can pull anything out of that game. Having no stress as well going into the game. Usually you have some like healthy stress playing Champions League game, you know. You cannot wait for that game. But right now I'm like, just get it over with, you know, because it feels soulless. The way the club plays, the Como game, it feels with no intent. It feels with no energy. We play with no drive. We play with no desire. We play with no real purpose. It's just watching the 90 minutes and get it over with. And the way Tudor spoke before the game, that's the vibe he gave to me as well. So my prediction is, I think we're going to lose. You know, I don't know how much. It could be a lot, but I'm going to go 4-1. Like, I have absolutely no belief. Like, we can see goals for fun. We don't score. The last time an attacker scored was against Dortmund. Like all the signs are just bad and worrying. And that's just, you know, the reality of the matter, you know. So that's my prediction. I don't have any hopes. I don't have any stress for the game, especially not after that Tudor presser, because, oh boy, the excuse making and the ifs and maybe and if we did this and if we did that, rather than talking about the performances, which he thinks are good, by the way, because he's telling us that the fans are not looking at the games right now. The performances have been good and the fans are not happy, but he's not sure why. Okay, if he doesn't understand why fans are not happy with 0 wins out of 6 and the performances paired to it, and he thinks the performances were good, and he's like, if the referee and the schedule wasn't that bad, we would be first, and against Milan we did well, and if we got a point, like, if he's happy with that, then we are the issue. We are the problem, I guess. Anyways, in the comments, let me know what you think about the game, prediction-wise. What do you think about his statements? And we will talk with each other post-game, as always.